picture book, following the thread come to life.
Like a long story of me starting to work with a group of other researchers, and we were trying to understand the notion of home with refugee children in 3 different places: Germany, Turkey, and Palestine. Something kept resonating with me, the whole idea of children speaking about feeling stuck in between 2 places, 2 cultures, 2 languages. Sadly, there is a lot of narratives that would start with children fleeing their homes and asking for a new home in a new country, and everything is fine and great. But the books that talks about the idea of waiting itself are not there. And I wanted a book that capture something more than war.
The minute I read the text, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, because it's very personal to me. Like, I feel the same way as the character does, because I'm a Syrian refugee. I left Syria, came to Jordan, then left to Germany. I always want to create something like a subtext with images. I wanted to not make it very literal, to create these like different worlds, a character that it's a swallow bird that immigrates, a female, because we're both females. I really put a lot of effort into creating these symbols of maybe war, the trees, the memories scattered all over the place. And it's a very adventurous book, I would say. It pushes you for the better. It pushes you to not, accept whatever it's thrown at you, to be moving, asking for more.
Who is the audience of your picture book?
It would be perfect for not only someone who went through the whole refugee displacement, but it would also be perfect for someone who's going through their teen years. So they are no longer children in the sense of like childhood, but they are not yet adults. So
in the story, you can see that the character is looking for people who resemble her, because she feels like she's out of place. This is why the description of the book always mentions the place and the time. She feels very stuck, doesn't belong in that place, in that time, between these people.
I wanted something to capture the real sense of not knowing it, just your inability to go anywhere because you're stuck. You can't go back, but you also can't go forward, because this is also validate part of the child experiences when it comes to these very complex contexts. It's not always about the trauma, but it's also about the trauma.
Some children are very, very privileged to not experience those experiences, not live through these hardships, and other children who went through all of this deserve to have a book that is well made, text well written, that doesn't bring pain to them but acknowledges the pain. And they deserve also to look at something image-wise that is made also with care.
What are the key aspects of creating stories about challenging topics?
And you need to have a personal element, you need to have a humane element in it. And I think there's always like a surface level type of stories that will tell you this happened, then we went there, then we did this. And this is very, I would say, cliche in this way. And there's always like another layer that you would dig deep. Why war is hard? Why displacement is hard?
The personal stories within these contexts are the most important things, because at the end of the days, we are not numbers, whether we are coming from any place in this earth.
And I would say always like lean on asking for the help or the guidance of people who went through that experience, because they know better. they're the one who would tell you how to write it or draw it.
What kind of reading experiences may children expect from your picture book?
You always want to find yourself in something, and it could be a book. I want that child to feel like they belong somewhere, and Ala and Haya understood him or her.
For example, I had a niece who happens to be half Palestinian, half Ghanaian. And from the whole story, she just said, "Auntie, this looks like me because I'm not fully from here." So for her, it just represented herself. For me, that's kind of like was the best thing that was ever said about the whole story, that she just saw herself. And I think the book captured this a childhood that knows the present and kind of like look to the future.